My brothers and my sisters, let me take your hand for a moment. Let me whisper a truth to your soul, not to your ears. Not the kind of truth that passes through the marketplace of men, but the kind that has danced with angels, wept with the prophets, and lingered at the hem of the holy. There is a sacred place in every home. Yes, my dear, let me take you there. Let us walk slowly, gently now, into a place not built with bricks alone, but with prayers whispered in the dark, with hopes folded into the corners of each wall. You see, every home holds more than furniture. It holds memory, it holds presence, and yes, it holds power. In every home, be it mansion or mud hut, city apartment or country cottage, there lies a place not often spoken of, not shown off to guests, not photographed or polished for the world to see. But this place, this sacred place, it breathes. It listens, it watches, it holds on to every word that has ever been spoken within its reach. It is not chosen by beauty, it is chosen by spirit. Now listen to me, child. Not everything sacred is dressed in white robes or housed in steeples. Some things sacred look like dust on a windowsill. Some things holy look like a worn rug beside a bed. That place, yes, that corner where you once knelt because the weight was too heavy to carry standing up, that is the place I speak of. That is the sacred place. It remembers you, even if you have forgotten it. Even if the years have dragged you away into the chaos of calendars and commitments, that corner still holds the echo of your sighs, your whispered, "Lord, help me," your trembling, "Thank you." That place has absorbed your truth. It has seen you unmasked. And when heaven looks upon you, it sees that place as well. That's where we begin. You don't need $1 million. You don't need a preacher's robe or a prophet's title. All you need is reverence. All you need is humility. And all you need is awareness. To recognize that the space you've walked past for years without thinking might just be the place God has chosen to meet you. People search high and low for miracles. They fly across oceans, sit at the feet of men who speak in riddles, hoping to unlock the mysteries of wealth and wisdom. But oh my love, sometimes what you need is already in your home, right there. Yes, right there, where the sun kisses the floor at a certain hour, where the breeze feels different, where the quiet is thick. That is the altar. That is the tabernacle, not made with hands. You can feel it, can't you? There are moments when you stand there and something inside of you stills. It hushes. It honors. You don't need to explain it, just feel it. That is sacred ground. You see, the sacred is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It whispers. It waits. It doesn't need gold. It just needs to be recognized. So before you place the salt, before you ask for overflow and financial rain and golden gates to open, recognize the holy place in your home, the place where your spirit settles, the place where you can cry without shame, the place where, when everyone has left you, God still meets you. That is where the miracle begins. And when you walk into that space, do not come rushing. Do not stomp with heavy shoes or throw down your burdens without respect. Come gently. Come the way a mother tiptoes into a nursery. Come the way the wind moves through leaves. Soft, respectful, reverent, because that place, though ordinary in the eyes of men, is extraordinary in the eyes of heaven. Do not worry if others mock your reverence. They mocked Noah for building a boat in the sunshine. They laughed at the widow who gave her last coin. But God saw, and that is all that matters. Now imagine this with me. You standing in that place. Nothing but salt in your hand and hope in your heart. No camera. No congregation, just you and the sacred. That's power. That's real power. Because in that quiet space, you are not just a body in a room. You are a soul touching eternity. You are a child speaking with your Creator. You are aligning heaven and earth in your own home. When the prophets of old built altars, they didn't need crowds. They didn't need orchestras and microphones. They needed only stones and fire and faith. You are building an altar now, not of stone, but of stillness, not of fire, but of faith, and not in the wilderness, but in your own home. There, in that sacred place, the veil is thinner. The angels lean closer. And when you speak, whether in joy or desperation, heaven listens more intently. Because you have honored what others forget. You have honored the sacred place. Now you know why it matters. Now you see, it's not about superstition. It's not about ritual for ritual's sake. It's about respect. It's about trust. It's about knowing that God does not just dwell in cathedrals and temples. He dwells wherever he is welcomed. And if you make space for him, he will make space for you in his abundance. So take a moment. Find that place. Dust it off, not just with your broom, but with your spirit. Clean it with prayer. Clean it with praise. And when you walk away from it, walk away knowing something has shifted. Something has awakened. Something sacred has been honored. The world may never know what happens in that little corner of your house, but heaven knows, and heaven responds. Every time. Yes, child. Every time. Yes, child. Let's take a moment to speak of salt. Not the kind you sprinkle on collard greens or press into the rim of a glass. No, not the salt of the kitchen, but the salt of the Spirit. The salt of the covenant. The salt that speaks when your mouth cannot. The salt that holds its tongue, yet carries the voice of 1,000 generations. Oh, my dear, salt is not just a seasoning. It is a testimony. It has been with us since the beginning. When God created the sea, he kissed it with salt, so that even the waters would never forget the taste of his voice. Salt is old, older than your grandmother's bones and your father's prayers, and it carries with it a dignity that cannot be bought, borrowed, or bent. In the days of our foremothers and forefathers, salt was sacred. It was currency. It was covenant. Soldiers were paid with it. Deals were sealed with it. Lives were preserved because of it. To waste salt was to waste power. To misuse it was to offend creation itself. But now, in this age of fast-moving lights and louder-than-life living, we have forgotten. We have taken it for granted. We let it sit quietly on our tables, unaware of the deep spiritual memory it holds. And yet, if you take salt, that simple, humble, holy mineral, and you hold it in your hands with intention, it becomes something else entirely. It becomes a vessel, a messenger, a quiet key to unlock sacred doors. You see, salt doesn't speak like thunder, but it transforms. It doesn't shout, but it shifts the air. Salt enters and the atmosphere remembers the ancient agreements, the ones that say you are protected, you are covered, you are not alone. Now, when you place salt in your home, you are not performing a trick. This isn't superstition. This is spirit. This is a sacred act. This is remembering what the world has forgotten, that physical things carry spiritual truths, and even the tiniest grain of salt holds meaning beyond measure. When you place salt in that sacred corner of your home, you're not just decorating. No, my love, you are declaring. You are saying to the heavens, I know who I am. I know what I carry. I know that I was not made for lack, but for light. The salt becomes your agreement. It becomes your whisper. It becomes your soul's quiet yes to God's abundance. It becomes a reminder that everything God created has purpose, including you, including your hands, including the place where you rest your head. Now, child, do not misunderstand. The salt itself has no power without your intention. 1,000,000 grains of salt in the wrong spirit are nothing more than dust, but a single pinch placed with love placed with reverence, placed with prayer, becomes divine. It is not the salt alone. It is the faith behind it. It is the courage to believe that something invisible is still more powerful than anything you can touch. When you bless that salt, you are blessing your home. You are marking territory. You are drawing a line the enemy cannot cross. You are saying, in this house, peace lives. In this house, favor reigns. In this house, I lack no good thing. And oh yes, blessings come when you honor what God honors. Even the smallest act, like placing salt, can cull down the attention of heaven when it's done with love. You are not too poor to practice this. You are not too broken to believe. All you need is what you already have, a soul that remembers how to hope. When you wake up tomorrow, do not just pass by your sacred space. Go to it with your little bowl of salt. Stand there and speak. You can say, I am ready, Lord. You can say, I receive prosperity, not just in con, but in calm. You can say, I give you this house, and in return, I trust you to fill it with what is holy, what is right, and what is enough. Then walk away. Let the salt do what it knows how to do. Let it rest there in stillness. Let it absorb the tension. Let it guard your going out and your coming in. It doesn't need to be moved. It doesn't need to be seen. It just needs to be honored. Salt purifies, it protects, it preserves. And when you combine it with prayer, with that low and longing song that rises from the belly of your being, you create something divine, something ancient, something no curse, no confusion, no chaos can undo. You want to know how to earn more money? Start by honoring what you already have. Start by treating your home like the temple it truly is. Start by walking through it not in fear, but in faith, declaring that every corner belongs to the light. Salt is a beginning. It is not a lottery ticket. It is not a quick fix. It is a sign that you are willing to take the small steps that lead to larger blessings. Too many people are waiting for the windfall, while God is waiting for them to move just one grain at a time in faith. And so, you place your salt. You whisper your prayer. You believe. You trust. You wait. And oh, child, the God who made salt and stars and your sacred soul, He will come, He will enter, He will multiply what you thought was meager. He will turn your little into overflow, not because of superstition, but because you moved in faith, because you saw the sacred in the small, because you dared to believe that salt in your hands can still hold heaven's promise. And it can. Oh yes, it surely can. Now let us sit a spell and speak plainly, my dear. Speak of something folks have twisted and tarnished for far too long. Money. Yes, money. That silent, powerful paper that shapes our lives like rivers shape valleys. It pays for bread. It pays for rent. It sends children to school, and it lays mothers to rest. And yet, somehow, many good people have been made to feel dirty just for desiring it. But I came to tell you, child, that wanting provision is not a sin. Needing a breakthrough is not selfish. And having money, plenty of it, is not wicked when your heart is wrapped in grace and your hands are ready to give. Now you hear me, and you hear me well. Money, by itself, is no more evil than fire. It can burn down a house, yes, but it can also warm a baby through the winter. It can destroy, but it can also deliver. It is not the money, child. It is the heart behind it. It is the spirit that handles it. There's an old lie that's crept into pulpits and prayers that the poorer you are, the holier you must be. But holiness ain't about your bank account. It's about your character, your compassion, your courage to rise and still give thanks, even when the pantry is bare. And it's your grace when the pantry is full and you don't forget the ones still hungry. You see, some folks say you must choose God or gold, heaven or provision. But I believe in a God so mighty, so majestic, that he can hand you both without contradiction. He can bless your spirit and your storehouse. He can touch your heart and your hands. He can pour oil on your soul and bread on your table. There is no shame in being blessed when you are willing to be a blessing. Ah, yes, that's the truth. There is a rhythm to divine abundance. It flows like a river, child, not a dam. If you hoard it, it stagnates. But if you allow it to flow into your family, into your neighbor's life, into a stranger's need, then that river runs full and it runs free. That's how money becomes holy, when it is earned in honesty, handled with wisdom, and given in love. Now listen to me. Some of you have been told you don't deserve to be wealthy. They told you your dreams were too big for someone from your street, your skin, your scars. But I say, who are they to define your destiny? Who are they to shrink your God down to the size of their fear? The cattle on 1,000 hills belong to him, the gold in the earth, the silver in the mountain, the seed in the soil. They all answer to his voice. And if he made you, then he made you worthy to receive what is good, to receive what is full, to receive what can feed your children and fund your purpose. Now don't go thinking this means you can sit idle and expect rain to fall indoors. No, no. God blesses the work of your hands. He blesses effort. He blesses intention. He blesses those who move, even when the road ahead looks like mist. He honors those who try. That's where the sacred and the practical kiss. Right in your daily steps. You get up, you plant seeds, you treat folks right, you speak life over your finances, not death. You steward what you have. And when you do that, heaven pays attention. The windows open. And the favor of the Lord doesn't just visit. It dwells. But old child, don't miss this. Money is a tool, not a throne. If you let it sit in your lap, it'll serve you. If you let it sit on your head, it'll enslave you. Too many have bowed to the dollar when they were meant to command it. It is a servant, not a master. Don't let it decide your joy. Don't let it dictate your worth. Your worth was spoken into you before you earned a single dime. It came when God breathed life into your body and called you very good. It came when he knit you with purpose in the womb of a woman who probably prayed for you in silence. It came when he decided you are necessary for this world. That's worth no check can measure, but when you know your worth, truly know it, then you treat your money with respect. You treat your decisions with care. You no longer chase pennies. You call forth provision. You no longer beg. You build. You no longer fear. You flow. And let me tell you, when God blesses you with wealth, it won't come to crush you. It won't come to shame others. It'll come to lift, to free, to create. It'll come like a gentle rain after years of drought, not as a flood to destroy, but as water to quench and restore. And you'll use it to repair broken things. You'll use it to fund dreams. You'll use it to leave a legacy with your name written in love across generations. So don't you dare feel guilty for wanting a life without lack. Don't you dare apologize for desiring a full table. Just make sure your hands are clean, your motives are clear, and your heart remains open to the one who gave it all. Let your wealth speak. Let it speak of justice. Let it speak of generosity. Let it speak of healing. Let your wallet be a testimony. Let your giving be a song. Let every dollar that passes through your hands be a love letter to the world. And if they ask you how you made it, how you went from empty pockets to overflowing cups, you just smile and say, I trusted God. I honored him. I worked with these two hands. And I remembered, money in the hands of the righteous becomes a blessing that never runs dry. Yes, child, you were never made to chase money. You were made to carry it with dignity, to direct it with wisdom, and to give it back with joy. Oh, my child, sit down for a moment. Let me speak gently to the bones of your being, to the spirit in you that knows but sometimes forgets. There's power in prayer, power so ancient, so rooted, so divinely deep, that even the winds hush themselves when a sincere heart begins to whisper holy things. There's a place in this world where the physical and the spiritual shake hands, where the floorboards of your house become sacred ground, and your voice, just your voice, can open doors no man can shut. That place is prayer. Not the kind dressed up in long robes and grand stages. No, not that kind. I'm talking about the kind of prayer that comes from a heart cracked open. The kind that rises up when you're washing dishes with tears in your eyes. The kind that's whispered in the quiet hours before sunrise. The kind that doesn't wait until Sunday morning. That prayer, that is the prayer that moves heaven. Some folks don't understand. They think prayer is passive, as if it's a whisper into the wind. But oh no, prayer is power. It's not a last resort. It's not the weak man's weapon. It is the mighty secret, the humble trumpet, the warrior's shield. You see, my dear, when you pray, you are not just talking, you're aligning your soul with the will of God, aligning your home with divine order, aligning your dreams with eternal purpose. And when you put salt in that sacred place in your house, when you mark that spot with reverence, with peace, with a knowing, you are not just preparing the ground, you're calling forth God's presence. Salt in the corner, oil on the threshold, prayer in the air. That is not superstition. That is remembering who you are. That is telling heaven, I'm ready. Now, don't you think for a moment that prayer is about fancy words. It's not the eloquence of your lips, but the earnestness of your soul that makes it mighty. You can stumble. You can cry. You can say the same word 10 times over. If it's real, if it's raw, if it's from the depth of your being, God hears it. Not only does he hear it, baby, he leans in. He cups his ear. He sends angels to attend to the very sound of your trembling voice. You see, prayer is not always loud. Sometimes it's a sigh, a groan. Sometimes it's sitting in silence saying, God, I don't have the words, but you know. And oh, he does know. He knows every fear you've dared not speak aloud. He knows the bills you hide in drawers. He knows the way you press your hand to your heart when you feel the weight of the world but smile anyway. That is where the power lives. In that moment of honesty. In that sacred place with that salt and your spirit in your broken hallelujah, mountains start to move. Money doesn't flow just because you want it. It flows because you've made room for it. And you make room through prayer. Not just prayer for riches, but prayer for readiness. Prayer that says, Lord, prepare me for overflow. Prepare me to manage. Prepare me to give. Prepare me to rise without losing my soul. Some folks want the harvest but don't want the planting, but prayer is the planting. Prayer is putting your knees to the floor and your faith into the future. It's saying, God, I trust you to do what I cannot. And that kind of trust, that unwavering, unrelenting, unshakable trust, is what heaven responds to. You want to earn a lot of money? Begin by praying like you already have it. Not out of pride, but out of confidence in the one who said, you're worth blessing. Walk through your house and speak to those empty spaces as if they are already filled. Speak life into your refrigerator. Speak abundance into your bank account. Speak overflow into your children's children. Let the walls of your home hear the sound of a woman or man who refuses to live beneath their promise. That is prayer. That is power. That is the difference between wishing and working, between hoping and believing. When you pray, you give your burdens a place to land. You hand over your stress, your doubts, your what-ifs, and your how-longs. And in return, you get peace. You get instruction. You get divine strategy. Prayer opens your eyes. Prayer strengthens your back. Prayer gives you clarity. And you need clarity if you're going to walk in wealth. Not just financial wealth, but emotional, relational, and spiritual abundance. Because money without peace is just chaos with commerce. But when your heart is settled and your mind is sound, the wealth that comes will not crush you. It will crown you. So pray, child. Pray when you wake up. Pray when you lie down. Pray over your work. Pray over your ideas. Pray over your wallet. Pray over your open hands. Let your whole house know that you serve a God who sees, who hears, and who provides. Let the salt be a reminder that this is sacred ground. Let the prayer be your invitation for heaven to dwell in your home. And when it gets hard, and it will, because still life's pray anyway. When doors close, pray. When friends leave, pray. When the numbers don't add up and the job says no, pray. Not because prayer changes God, but because prayer changes you. It lifts your chin, it steadies your feet, it holds your trembling hands until you're strong enough to hold the blessing coming your way. Yes, child, pray. In that sacred corner, pray in that sacred silence, pray in your pain, pray in your joy, and let your life become the proof that prayer still works. Because it does, oh Lord, it does. It opens doors. It heals hearts, and it brings down blessings like rain from heaven. Child, come close and lean in, not just with your ear, but with your whole spirit. Because what I'm about to say has weight, a kind of weight that doesn't burden, but anchors. We've talked about the salt. We've spoken on the sacred place. We've touched on wealth and prayer and the mysterious meeting place of the spirit in the physical world. But now we must speak about something many overlook, though it is the quiet hinge on which everything swings. Faith. Faith, my dear, is the breath behind the words you pray. It is the unseen hand that holds open the door long enough for you to walk through it. It's the substance in your soul that lets you believe in what you can't yet see, touch, or tally in a bank account. It is the echo of God in your bones, whispering, "Go ahead, believe anyway." You see, without faith, salt is just salt, a corner is just a corner, a prayer is just wind against wood. But when faith enters the room, when faith enters you, everything shifts. It's like the hush before dawn, the moment before the seed splits underground and reaches for the light. You can't see it happening, but oh child, it's moving. Faith doesn't require that you understand all things. It just asks that you trust the one who does. And trust, real trust, is not built in sunshine alone. It is formed in darkness. It is formed when the bills pile high and the refrigerator hums low and empty. It is formed when friends go quiet and fear gets loud. It is formed when your salt lies quietly in that sacred corner and nothing seems to change for a while. That's when faith stands up. That's when faith says, "Though I don't see it, I know it's coming. Though I don't feel it, I believe it's near. Though the night is long, I trust that morning must come." You see, child, faith is not pretend, it is not make-believe. It is choosing to believe that God's word is greater than your worry, that his promise is stronger than your past, that his intention for you is not simply to survive, but to thrive. Faith doesn't ignore the mountain, it speaks to it. It doesn't deny the storm, it declares peace in it. And let me tell you something. When you've placed salt in that sacred space, and you've prayed with tears and truth, the only thing that can carry those prayers into reality is faith. Not faith in your own strength, but faith in the one who created strength itself. Sometimes we treat faith like a switch, flip it on and off, depending on our mood or our moment. But real faith is a seed you plant and protect. You water it with praise. You fertilize it with scripture. You speak life over it. And when winds try to uproot it, because they will, you cover it with more truth. Faith is not loud, though sometimes it roars. Often it's quiet. It sits in the corners of your heart, rocking back and forth, whispering, don't give up. It's coming, just a little longer. Now, don't mistake faith for denial. Faith sees the facts, yes, but it declares a greater truth. It looks at the empty bank account and still sows generosity. It sees the job rejection and still sharpens the resume. It sees the lack and still calls in abundance. Faith is the language of heaven, and when you speak it, heaven responds. You want to earn money, not just small change, but real provision? Then don't just put salt in the corner. Put faith in your core. Let it wrap around your spine until you stand taller. Let it saturate your words until your prayers start sounding like prophecy. Let it flow from your fingertips until everything you touch starts to bloom in its own time. And child, when fear comes knocking, and it will, you let faith answer the door. When doubt tries to pull up a chair at your table, you say, this seat is taken. Faith already sits here. Faith doesn't always make sense to the natural mind. That's why some folks will laugh at you. Some will call you foolish for believing that a little salt, a quiet prayer, and a mighty God can shift your finances, your family, your future. Let them laugh. Let them scoff. You just keep believing. Because sooner or later your faith will bear fruit. And the same ones who mocked you will come asking how you did it, and you will say, with a smile, I trusted God in the dark. I believed when there was no reason to. I stood when I wanted to fold. I put my salt in that sacred place and prayed. And I believed. You see, faith honors God. And anything that honors God, God honors in return. He sees you walking by faith, and he doesn't leave you out in the cold. No, he sends warmth. He sends provision. He sends what you need, and sometimes what you didn't even know you needed. Let me be clear now. This ain't magic. This ain't superstition. This is divine alignment. This is spiritual truth. Faith is the connector between your obedience and God's overflow. So let your heart be the altar. Let your words be incense. Let your belief be the fire that never goes out.